So Walker had always been a reasonably healthy child, and then our story of cancer happened very quickly for us. It began very quickly. Walker was your everyday little boy, all boy, 2 years old, loved any kind of ball. He was the kid who slept with a ball instead of a bear. We just had a brand new baby brother, so he loved that, and he loved his dog Bailey. Your typical boy. We were watching some football with some friends at our house, and Walker just started acting a little bit different, wasn't eating as well, low-grade fever, a few dots on his wrists and ankles. So we decided to call our pediatrician's office just to ask the nurse on call. She told us she thought it'd be a good idea, just because Children's has nurses that sit at the emergency room desk, to come on down, since it's only about 12 minutes from our house, just let him look at the dots and make sure everything was fine. From there, it just kind of went quickly. It was a flurry of people coming in and out, staff and IVs in both arms and lab results, and the doctor came in and said, your son has leukemia.
So Walker was diagnosed with acute lymphoblastic leukemia, or ALL. And that's the most common type of childhood cancer.
From that moment, everything kind of went into a blur mode for us. I think we heard what they were saying, but it was hard to believe that this was actually happening to our child. The staff was amazing. They came in and they knew how to talk to us and how to give us the information, and how also to be taking care of our son at the same time. So we spent about 10 days initially in the hospital after he was diagnosed, getting chemo and being taught how to take care of him. We were afraid to touch him, what it was going to do, and they just told us everything that we needed to know, and really took care of the whole family, and not just Walker. And then they sent us home, and from there we began the journey of treatment for childhood leukemia.
And actually, leukemia requires quite aggressive and specialized treatments. We see children in the hospital for certain types of treatments, and then a lot of visits to our outpatient clinic. In fact, the duration of therapy is over 3 years.
We did very intense chemo for the first 29 days and were able to achieve remission at the end of that time period, which was the goal of the physicians. And then at that point, because it was a blood cancer, he wasn't finished. There was 2.5 years left of treatment to ensure that he was able to stay in remission and that the cancer didn't come back. So our life, of course, looked completely different than it did before that day on December 8th, 2013, that we were diagnosed.
In Alabama, we see about 40 to 50 children with leukemia each year. In total, we have about 150 children who are diagnosed with cancer. And a lot of people think that cancer is something that affects older people, so they're always surprised to hear about how many children we see here at Children's of Alabama with cancer.
There's nothing scarier than hearing that your child has something that you can't do anything about personally. But to know that we felt completely confident here that the way that they told us they were going to treat him, that was what needed to happen. That they could say, hey, you as a parent, you're going to go home and give your child chemotherapy. That's terrifying, but at the same time, we had every bit of support that we needed, that we felt like, okay, we can do this.
What makes my job really satisfying is families that I meet, such as the Simmons families that I meet. An amazing example of a boy who's gone through a lot of treatment, and I think it's important that our community knows that there are children in Alabama who suffer from cancer, and that it's important to support those families and support the activities that we do here at Children's of Alabama.
I hope one day that he is just a great man that can stand and tell people about what God walked him through being a child with leukemia. I pray that he continues to be somebody who advocates. I mean, even at 8 years old, he's already been a great advocate, standing and telling his story and saying to people, I had cancer. Because a lot of people don't know that kids have cancer. And a lot of people don't know about the level of care that's in our backyard at Children's. So the idea that he can be a man who maybe has a family one day and that just really grasps how grateful we all are and how grateful he is to be here, that the little things that a lot of us just kind of assume are going to happen in life, that's really a gift. And I pray that he always lives his life grateful for those things and willing to tell his story.